Hi, my name is Kevin Taylor. The EC boss, Jean Mensa, was made the Electoral Commissioner for one reason: to rig the 2020 elections for this government. I have an audio to prove that. This is With All Due Respect. With all due respect, my fellow Ghanaians, the fact is the Electoral Commission should be there to preserve the integrity of the political process, including taking decisions without any prejudice on one side or the other. Following complaints and evidences from all political parties and taking actions where it is justified, the Electoral Commission of Ghana is failing to meet acceptable standards of fairness, and if we allow the compromised commissioner to continue on this trend, this can result in protests, violence, and fragility. Nana Akufo-Addo's government, through its allies at the Electoral Commission, is doing everything possible to legitimate electoral practices through corrupt manipulation of the vote, knowing very well that the voters meaning Ghanaians, are likely to unseat them. Ghanaians have lost confidence in the Electoral Commission. Jean Mensa and those crooks at the Electoral Commission are suffering from crisis of credibility and endangering the integrity of our electoral process. The weak-kneed conduct of these former NPP TESCON members appointed to head this important institution have reduced the credibility of the constitutional body to an all-time low. The scary truth is that any erosion of the people's confidence in the fairness of the Electoral Commission has very grave consequences for the future of our democracy, and I hope and pray the gravity of the situation will be appreciated by including our civil society organizations, the Catholic bishops, the Peace Council, and the others. The Electoral Commission's independence, yes, the Electoral Commission's independence, impartiality, and efficiency are perceived to be compromised today, and Ghanaians are distressed to note the misuse, abuse, and blatant disregard of the model code of conduct by the ruling party at the center. Over the last 3 years, practically every government agency has been exploited, and they have become part of the NPP and its whims and fancies. The Electoral Commission is among the compromised institutions. All this institutional capture that is taking place and all the negative efforts of it will have consequences in the future. Jean Mensa and her crooks should know that we are not going to allow that important institution to be disturbed, controlled, crushed, and anybody who colludes or falls to the pressure is also committing crime. With all due respect, my fellow Ghanaians, now let me set the record straight. The former EC boss, Osei, has left a mark which must be respected and celebrated by Ghanaians. I say this because the current EC boss, Jean Mensa, has over these months shown that she does not have the credibility and integrity to hold our democracy together. In fact, from her actions, it is clear that this government led by Nana Akufo-Addo brought her into office to rig the 2020 elections for my own party, the NPP. I know some hypocritical Ghanaians who know the truth but pretend not to know will argue like chicken without heads because they have allowed themselves to be filled with tribalism and pettiness. A lot was said when Jean Mensa was appointed as the EC boss. Yes, we all talked. A lot of people complained. Some Ghanaians, especially the opposition NDC, raised several green lights to tell the world and Ghanaians that Jean Mensa is a lapdog of the president and his family, and that she will be the person who will take this little democracy we have enjoyed from us because she has been turned into a puppet on the lap of a midget. Today, I'll be playing an audio. Today on my show, I'll be playing an audio which was recorded on February 22nd, 2018. Remember, this audio was recorded on the 22nd of February 2018, and in this audio, you will hear the voice of Gordon Asare-Bediako, editor of the ABC newspaper. He has worked with Kweku Baku for years. He is a host on Oman FM Boiling Point, which belongs to Kennedy Japan. You will also hear the voice of another Oman FM host by name Osei. He's also a journalist there at Oman FM. This same network is owned by Kennedy Japan. You will hear the voice of the former MD of MMT, Mr. Bennett Abuaje. You will also hear the voice of Mr. Yadom Kese, who is also the former consultant of MMT. They were discussing how the presidency was involved in framing and sacking Charlotte Osei just to bring in Jean Mensa to rig the elections for them. The ABC newspaper editor, who has also worked with Kekubako, did not mince words as he was bold and confident about what he said. He said so many things in the audio that basically shows clearly that from the presidency to the head of our judicial system, that is the Chief Justice's office, the sacking of Charlotte was orchestrated and calculated by some people. My fellow Ghanaians, Gordon Asare-Bediako, who is the editor of the ABC newspaper, made emphatic statements like, the Chief Justice, that is what Gordon said in the audio, and I'll play for everyone to hear. The Chief Justice played a major role in making sure Charlotte Osei was fired. He said in the audio that the presidency actually planned the whole Charlotte Osei sacking. He confidently said in the audio that the presidency directed some people to put together the petition against Charlotte Osei and some of her colleagues at the EC so that it does not look like they are going after Charlotte Osei, but going after other people. Gordon Asare-Bediako emphatically said in this audio I'll be playing to you that the Deputy Chief of Staff took bribe of about $200,000 from some NDC people, assuring them that their job was going to be safe after the NPP won power, which the president knew about and never acted on. Gordon Asare-Bediako, the editor of ABC newspaper, said the presidency were behind a demonstration organized to put pressure on the president to fire Charlotte Osei. With all due respect, my fellow Ghanaians, I'm going to do something simple today. I'm going to play a little piece, a little portion of the audio, and on 13th, that is Friday, I'll play the whole piece on Loud Silence Radio and TV. You just have to download our radio app, Loud Silence Radio. It's compatible with Android and also iOS. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel so you get the opportunity to watch and listen to this audio live on Friday, 5 p.m. Ghana time. I will play the full audio for Ghanaians to know why Jean Mensa is doing what she's doing today, because she was given a task, and that task is to rig the 2020 elections for this government. A task that she promised she would deliver even if it plunges this country into war. Now pay attention and listen to this.
Presidency because they say, "Oh, people, now one wants to make petition against presidency." Presidency was a petition. Yes. That's because you can't be castigo. Yeah.
Ah, boy, wow!
Why you don't do it?
Oh, wow!
It doesn't basically go. You do that, I said that you can't.
Oh, what a development to come. Pleased to meet you. No, tell I want Papa to issue for that.
No, but someone, the personal one, ABC News. Exactly, to come back on a shooting. And to pay off on me, what? Sorry, you have a disgrace. No, yeah. Men like I say, Victoria, we know about my might. But in Victoria, we are one. We also focus on their evidence as at least 80%. As around 1%. But me, I don't need 80%. I need just 20% to publish it. You are not a paper.
And you just support to
no. Mr. Million, yeah, that's it. Every person, almost a movie from them.
see, but we do something. You don't need to the point of share mother put you by one I'll be like that. As you shoot, as you say, as a power no credit, you put your finding. Oh, me see, we have to see a teaching about issue commissioners. Me what say? What's your better number? My there'll be on Baba. I said we see in the house. So presidency, because the women would go up. That's where we can't just say, have permission for have you see whether we are now over them. I get to that. I know many I see me rubbish. Yeah. Oh no, President, she was not
almost so petition or the presidency because they say, what will be no one wants to make petition against a presidency. Presidency was a petition. Yes.
I don't understand this. I mean, what to say?
The only topic is a petition parliament was a petition against the country. And now they could be president. And almost say so much this is your way to hide. The most important so the now almost on petition now resident and then hello. So they gave the assembly to still together.
I'm just
So presidency,
it should be a benefit and so we don't part.
and they don't want them to go because and then my question about that, they say, about my mechanical say, no, you are one person, I have bound for this. You are prepared to call everybody, there will be a rule, they will leave, have called you to come. You are one out of maybe 1,000 or whatever. They are not put 8 years as a man. Who's a good presidency master? Since 2002. There was one Sunday, let me check to what happened for 11 a.m. And that's what that made the done. It's even what to be free. But he was disappointed in Ghana Osei. They are not coming out to talk. Who's for the frustrated or corresponding to Muhammad's answer? Who will be about it now that I've said what is on my chest? Let me see. The Chadation of and call Ghana. Never avoid, never. All that is look, let me take the movie man. The man is not happy with what we do. You can just chat with the chair. I'm the main woman. Confidential, but that's what I'm trying to start talking.
Answer over.
I don't for most of my year and small measure updates this. On Monday to come, receiving guy in camp, to be in camp. And I'm starting some 2 1. Mobile woman.
I want to who the ready go near but man is coming with one.
Masani,
Hey, what's it? Hey, in the man of the there must be a cost to that. It should buy
course, we said probably they don't recognize they think they say or most of the people more can be for year.
And look what them and the community.
Yes, sir.
Make the one for the team for me that you. That's all catch him. A lot of business. But pay. Oh, they're not doing it. Somebody called you to advise you. You don't have money. As you are speaking now, it's not here posting the 400 pounds. 400 pounds. I said that. 400.
And Ghana, a law school, so quite cheap. That may be more
or you are.
Hey, ever before.
400.
She's less than 50 years. She's less than 50 years. Or retirement at the age of 70. And I make 30 years. What are you queen of that?
The young one. The young just a sassy wood yet.
Now, see, yeah. Was what
no catch bonus master. If we need at maybe catch up, make catch on the demonstration this next month on this issue from MPP. What's your amendment? Catch the demonstration. We have to put pressure on it. Listen, I'm telling you today, demonstration they see a bigger person. Me, I want to do
disappointing.
Now, see, here on the National Security Minister Kasa.
Kanaba,
one be a point where I friend of
so me or that no one, not come at check. Can you tell you could attend the report on you could report on why say 480,000 benefits. I got a talk of this. And I'm moving my pieces that I come at me. All that report, I think I rejected first one thing that they would have been as a game, so who be prosecuted. That was a second report to buy. I think they must have myself, but the PA and was a indictment on you. Say, I know what they are buying. See, if it's a prosecution, this is a problem. The federal investigations.
Be specific.
It beside the one as I will. You know, my FBI. My indicted people true. What's the area of spending work? That of finance, of course. I'm a master of physics. I want to work. But the woman have much of so that's what you mean. Report by people 2 years of this. All more must suspend the and camera suspects. They will do once and say we are paid for it. They invite to machine. Still, they won't. 6 months.
One show up and will think of what will be comfortable. No one's wishing, Baba. Now you're the country.
Wouldn't you wait if you would say more cost?
Oh, yeah. We are part of the party, so we know the mentality of our people.
Yes,
the hierarchy.
And you, say
last one, but I look
Ghana maritime. Ghana maritime, and this time, but they really power. Not boys or Japanese cartoon say, who makes me a policeman out of West. But what is that? Besides that, you should move ahead. Say, all the boys water.
When I want this guy, the boys of police how much of food. And true. And we have food. And you have the whole country.
Cheap after that.
And you may have from time to time.
Yeah, no, was 1,000 a year to be put at.
Yeah, okay. So, I'm about to it became a year of president, which is for KDSSI 20 card.
Into law, I use it when I say AFN.
Oh, that one man did. I want to be something.
Meko London.
Okay.
I
mean, University of London.
Meko London. I Sunday every week.
Okay.
And they say, be a person here. Yeah, you come to me.
That's not my question.
I'm going to make sure. You will be done. Oh, we don't want to hear you. You have the
There was September, October last year. The one man who just sent me thousands of dollars. The one of my freedom. Nancy Sabi. So, that's the whole so basically, you said that you. It's a government here, but I'm starting for day. There's a man that I say we don't say, empty the down, a back of this. We would get for that. Somebody may have this was a man about they don't recognize it.
And what and I said, Oma, I don't recognize
it. No matter, and there's no matter to a house. Hey,
they didn't make it MP.
Yes, they don't care. I thought a billion net because and a Kennedy. Sometimes it's really a plan. Or Yahoo, and it's true. And then you win your friend morning show. Or say that I remember I would have the day. Or say, I'm one for my day. What cleaner, quite the list I should get for this government is 2 bedrooms. I remember very well. He was in his, was it was
what do you think I said? Oh, man, you and I'm not moving our. What do you think your manager say? How?
You're not there for humanity.
Then go to brand by brain. We have 5 years in the boy.
With all due respect, my fellow Ghanaians, let me set the record straight about Charlotte Osei and the work she did as the Electoral Commissioner of Ghana. There's a specific reason why her work is being recognized across the globe, because she worked with integrity and commitment. With all due respect, my fellow Ghanaians, now let me break something down for Ghanaians to understand why we have made the biggest mistake as a country. Now, since 2016, there has been no major elections in Africa without challenges, without violence, without loss of lives and disputes by opposition. In fact, in 2016, the Uganda, Zambia, Gabon, the incumbents all won. Opposition cried foul except for Ghana and Gambia. Yes, except Ghana and Gambia. Even Gambia took external interventions to remove Jammeh, and we are all witness to that. In 2017, Rwanda, Kagame won, but accused of dictatorial tendencies. Kenya, Angola, Liberia, and DRC had major challenges with electoral processes. In 2018, Sierra Leone, Zambia, and Cameroon had major issues. Egypt and Tunisia also had the same problem. In 2019, Nigeria and Malawi had disputes all around. With all due respect, my fellow Ghanaians, so almost every other election in Africa so far has been involved in some dispute or violence. Charlotte Osei oversaw one of the most violent free elections, no crimes, no death or war. So the question is, why will this government, specifically the president and his family, go after this woman? The president himself, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo himself, congratulated Charlotte Osei when she was hired by UN. She was hired by UN to oversee the peaceful elections of the most dangerous country on earth. Yes, I'm talking about Afghanistan. Now, the question is simple. Why would Ghana do this to such a woman and bring in such an ignorant, petty, lying lapdog who can't make her own decisions to head our electoral process? The answer is simple. It is because of petty partisan reasons, and most importantly because this president, Akufo-Addo, and his family feel the seat of government belongs to them, and that only a lapdog like Jean Mensa can make their tyranny dream come true by ruling this country till the end of time. My fellow Ghanaians, for Jane Blaku Alote Mensa to allow Joe Anochi, yes, for Jane to allow Joe Anochi, head of NCA who wants to control transmission of results and who got the job for being MPP's acclaimed hacker of the 2016 transmission process, to be sent to IPAC as NPP rep shows how shameless, yes, how brazen, reckless and ignorant this EC boss Jean Mensa is. Let me tell you people, Jane Blaku Alote Mensa will lead this country to war if we don't rise up and speak. My fellow Ghanaians, the whole purpose of this new register is to suppress votes in Volta region. Yes, Volta region, which is NDC's stronghold, and increase votes in the Ashanti region, which is the NPP's stronghold. This is a fact. Sometimes I feel we Ghanaians are not focused enough to see what this government is partnering the EC to do. The first thing this EC and this government did was they first removed the head of birth and death registry in the Volta region to make it difficult for people in the Volta region to get birth certificates, meaning they can't get NIA cards, which means they will not be able to register. A typical example is a Lembele constituency with an incumbent NDC MP. In the last registration exercise ahead of the referendum, 6,000 people registered. Only 1,000 found their names on the register. 6,000 registered. Only 1,000 found their name on the register. Ask Jane Blaku Alote Mensa if this has been rectified. If you can't do update of the register efficiently and disenfranchise over 70% of voters, how will you do a proper new register? It's a simple question. How many voters is she planning on disenfranchising through pure arrogance and incompetence? Jean Mensa, I tell you, if it is your plan to rig the elections and plunge this country into war, the blood of anyone who dies will be on your head and your families. My fellow Ghanaians, this time is the time for us to rise up and speak truth to power. Our democracy is the only thing we have, so if we should allow this slave queen to plunge this country into war because of the greed of this president and his family, then we will be fighting a losing battle. Jane Blaku Alote Mensa, if you think you can plunge this country into war and not suffer the consequences, then you are wrong. My fellow Ghanaians, I have said I am just a messenger who does not have a Quran or a Bible in his hand, a messenger who is ready and willing to speak truth to power, a messenger who will die for the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kevin Ekobedu Taylor, and what you just heard is with all due respect.